Year three, how are we today? I hope you're well and have been doing some amazing online learning. I know you have for maths because I've been looking at your work and it's been sensational. So today is the last day we're looking at equivalent fractions, and tomorrow we're moving on to comparing fractions. So we're still staying within the fraction topics. Let's look at which equivalent fraction we're looking at today. Let's minimize me. Bye bye, Mrs. Riot. Okay, so today is the 1st of July 2020, which is unbelievable. How quickly has July come around? And the NI is to find equivalent fractions to 1/4. And you'll need a pencil, a piece of paper to write on, and a ruler. So let's get started. Number talk. Compare the coloured strips here, to the black strip here. If the black strip here represents a whole, what fraction do the other strips represent, and how do you know? So that is your task. So look at this black strip here. If this is a whole, what do these strips here represent? So pause the video and have a go at that. So this strip here, the first one, represents, so it's really big, represents half. Let's do this. Oops, Daisy. This strip here represents 1/3. This one here represents 1/4. What about this one over here? What does that represent? This one here represents 1/6. This one here represents 1/9. And this one here represents 1/12. So if you got those right, well done, because it's really hard to get your head around because you've got strips, you've got squares, you've got numbers, and it's quite hard. But if you think about this strip, half of 36 is 18. If you divide 36 by 3, it'd be 12, that's 1/3. And if you divide 36 by 4, it'd be 9, so that's 1/4, and so on and so forth. Great start, guys. The key vocabulary today is amount, numerator, equivalent, fraction, denominator, and quarter. So far this week, the vocabulary has remained the same, apart from this one here has changed from half, 1/3, and a quarter, obviously because there's the equivalent fraction we're looking at that day. This week we've been learning about equivalent fractions. I want you to jot down your piece of paper what you've learned so far about equivalent fractions. So let's look at these rectangles here. What do you see? What is the same? What is different? Have a look. So what's the same is that the whole rectangle is the same size and same length. In this one, it's been divided into 4 parts, only 1 part has been shaded. Here it's been divided into 8 parts with only 2 shaded. This one here has been divided into 12 parts, only 3 shaded, and this rectangle has been divided into 16 parts with 4 shaded. So before I go on, write down next to, just write in a piece of paper which fraction each rectangle represents. So here they are, with this over here. This is 1/4, this is 2/8, this is 3/12, this is 4/16. Now as you can see, the value, the size of the fraction for each rectangle is the same. However, we have different numbers. So these fractions here are equivalent fractions to 1/4. Okay. And here we go. What do you notice about these fractions? And can you explain the relationship between the numerator and the denominator? So before we start this task, what I want you to do is I want you to look at these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars and write down the fraction that each bar represents. And then I want you to explain the relationship between the numerator and the denominator. Okay, so this bar is 1/4. This bar is 2/8. This bar is 3/12. This bar is 4/16, hope you can see that. And this bar is 5/20. Now, the relationship between the numerator and the denominator, what is it? Okay, 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, and 5 times 4 is 20. And these fractions are all equivalent fractions to a quarter. So there's a relationship there. Did you get that relationship? I know when you think about it, it actually makes perfect sense. And as you can see, all of the denominators are multiples of 4. Let's move on. And here we go. Okay, so remembering that the denominator is a multiple of 4, what are the missing denominators here? I'll try and look at this. Really looked at some in detail. So this one is 8. So this one is 7 times 4, 28. 6 times 4, 24. 3 times 4, 12. Stacey. 4 times 4, 16. 5 times 4, 20. So these fractions are all equivalent fractions to a quarter. So different numbers, the same value as a quarter. And here we go. So what should we do before we shade the shape in? So we can count the number of pieces to give us the denominator, then divide the whole by 4 to give us a numerator. So as an equation, for this one here is written as 12 divided by 4, which is, as we know, 3. Okay, so here we've got 12 divided by 4 is 3. So for this one, we need to shade in 3. 1, 2, and 3. So we know that 3 over 12 is an equivalent fraction to 1/4. So let's look at this example here. Okay. My division sign has gone all the way up there for some reason. Right, so count the number of pieces to give us the denominator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 is our denominator. I can write that down here. Okay, 8 is the denominator. Then divide the whole 8 by 4 to give us the numerator. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So up here we'll have a 2. And we'll know that this is equivalent to a quarter. And now I will shade in 2 boxes. And that 2 out of 8 boxes is an equivalent fraction to a quarter. And now I want you to try this one by yourself. Remember, pause the video and go through the steps. If you're unsure about the steps, go to the previous slide, rewind the video, and just have a look again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 18, 24 is the denominator, the number of boxes. To work out the equivalent to a quarter, we should divide 24 by 4, which is 6. Let's put down 6 here. Let's show you 6 boxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Obviously you would shade it in, colour it in properly, not with the line. I just can't do that with this pen on the screen. So 6 over 24 is an equivalent fraction to a quarter. Now I want you to try this, please. So there are, if you would have counted, 20 little boxes in total. That's our denominator. To work out what a quarter of 20 would be, you need to divide 20 by 4, which is 5. So the numerator is 5, and then you colour it in. 5 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me see if I can work out this. Yeah, that's better. So 5 over 20, which this shade represents, is equivalent to 1 quarter. Good job if you're getting these right. Danny is back. He's had an awful week this week because he's had 2 wrong in a row. So today Danny is saying that these bars represent equivalent fractions. Do you agree with Danny, and give reasons for your answer? Right, so this bar here represents 3 over 5. And this one here represents 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 over 6. So are 3 over 5 and 4 over 6 equivalent fractions? That is the question that we're asking you. And the answer is no, they're not, are they? How can they be? They're 2 completely different fractions. The denominators are not multiples of the same number, so they are not equivalent fractions at all. Good job, you got that right. Not a great week for Danny, but good week for you if you got that right. Okay, so now the time has come for us to complete our tasks. So don't forget to complete your task and email it to me at year3@grange.harrow.sch.uk. So it's the brilliant work you're doing. Your task can be found on the Year 3, on the online learning tab on the Grange website under Year 3, and the task today is entitled Math Task 010720. And when you go into that task, you'll come up with this. So task 1, as you can see, is to fill in the shapes, find the equivalent of a quarter. Task 2 says choose one equivalent fraction from task 1, and write down how you worked it out. So and number the steps. So really, I know you know how to do it, but I want you to see if you can, in your own words, write down the steps that you go through to work out the equivalent fraction. Task 3, look at the unshaded parts of the equivalent fractions from task 1. They show 3 quarters. Can you write down an equivalent fraction for each shape? So what this is asking you to do is go to task 1. So rather than looking at what you've shaded in, look at what you haven't shaded in and write down what fraction that represents, because they would be equivalent fractions to 3 quarters. And finally, your final task. So you see here it says fractions, choose the equivalent fraction. So you have 3 quarters and you have 3 options, and you need to work out which is the equivalent fraction. You have 5, 6, and this is really quite tricky and really pushing your knowledge of equivalent fractions, and picking A, B, or C will show you to choose what the equivalent fraction is to this main fraction over here. So going back to our smartboard. All you challengers out there, choose the odd one out. You get A, 3 over 3 quarters, B, 9/12, C, 18 over 24, and D, 2/6. Which one is the odd one out? And I'd love for you to explain why. Okay, hope you had enjoyed today's lesson. I loved teaching it, and I will see you guys tomorrow with more maths. And tomorrow we're looking at comparing fractions. See you then. Bye.